laid on my bed. It was now 4 a.m., and I still had not gotten a moment of sleep. So, it really was all over now. My mother had been released from the hospital. Apparently the doctors had called her recovery a miracle. However, for me, it was more of a curse. She had come last night to inform us that she was going to take Sora back. She was going to move out in 2 weeks. And as for me, I was going to be relocated back to America at that time as well. As always, my opinion didn't matter. It was told to me as a fact that I had no future in Japan. This was all apparently supposed to be for the best for me. Why waste time learning English in Japan when you could just live in America? Why waste time fooling around with some girl when you should be thinking about your future? I was overwhelmed with the urge to punch my fist into the wall, blowing out the most precious night of my life so easily, and to stamp out any last trace of hope, not even letting me graduate from high school with everyone. Somehow, perhaps, this was just my destiny. Destined to wander the world alone forever, always to slowly build up my life, slowly, agonizingly slowly, only to have it mercilessly torn apart in an instant. And then, to slowly rebuild again, even slower than before, only to have it destroyed again in a flash. And this cycle would repeat again and again for eternity until I finally gave away to the horror. What truly was the purpose of such a life? Why bother making friends? Why bother making memories? I felt tears running down my face, but I could not make a sound. I wanted to howl, wanted to scream, wanted to smash everything in my room to pieces, to tear up all of my school books and shred my uniform to pieces. But how pathetic. I only had the will to cry. I really was the worst. I must have passed the entire weekend in a daze on top of my bed. I stared up at the ceiling of my room. It felt as if my insides were burning. A part of me was ashamed of myself. How long had I locked myself in this room? In some distant corner of my brain, I was begging myself to get up and meet my friends. My days with everyone were running out with each passing second. I couldn't waste them all laying on top of my bed staring at the ceiling. My mind was sobbing. It was screaming. I wanted to strangulate my dead... What? For being like this? Every second that I wasted, who knew what I could have been doing with everyone in that time? But I was immobilized. How could I ever tell them about this? Imagine how shocked and sad Hakuro would be if I told her that I was going to leave in just 2 weeks now. And I couldn't even bear to think of how upset Nanami was going to be when I told her I was going to leave her for a second time. All of a sudden, I heard my cell phone ring. I looked at the caller ID. It was Nanami. Hello? Oh, hey, yo, Rikuku! Let's do something fun, man! Sorry, Nanami, I don't think, oh, yo, did you catch a cold, man? Yo, your voice does not sound good at all, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry, I did. Oh, man, I see. Well, you know, cheer up, man. I'll take care of you if you get any word, man. Thanks. No problem, man. See you later, Rikuku. Get better soon, man. I'll see you, Nanami. I hung up. What a coward I was. I couldn't even tell her. There was no way I could just break something like this to her so simply. What was I going to do? Gripped by frustration, I pulled my pillow over my head and squeezed my eyes shut. I heard a knock on my door. Sora, is that you? ... You can come in, Sora. I heard my door creak open as Sora stepped into my room. She had an expression of devastation on her face. I guess it was the same look I had. Look at the two of us. We matched. She stumbled to my bed like she was still in shock and collapsed onto my side. I I placed my hand on her head and gently stroked her hair. Sorry, Sora, I'm really lost right now. I really thought we'd be able to spend the rest of our high school together. Oh man, not only that, but I thought we'd be able to go to university together. I can even imagine us ever being, you know, ... If there was anything I could do to let us stay together, I would. But there's just nothing. It's all our parents' fault. They never cared for us, but still, they think they can make all of our decisions for us. ... I knew Sora was right. I had begged my father so many times since Friday to let me stay with Sora, but he wouldn't have any of it. Not only that, but I knew the situation was pretty much the same on Sora's side with Mother. If only there was something I could do. Why did they always have to be so selfish? We had absolutely nothing to do with their feud. Ugh. I hung my head in frustration. To think I'd just promised Sora I would always protect her. But a promise like that was just too far beyond my ability to keep. Hey Sora, let's skip school tomorrow. It's not like there was any point in going to class anymore anyways. Do you want to go somewhere? Me neither. Let's just stay in this room. Yeah, let's do that. All of a sudden, it felt as if I were carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I know that feeling. I couldn't bear to see Nanami and Hakura again. I couldn't tell my best friends that I was going to leave, because I couldn't admit it to myself. I wanted our days together to continue, somehow. If I told them that I was leaving, it would only make the departure more absolute. Sora and I ended up spending all of Monday locked in my room. Even though we were cutting school, it was impossible for us to do anything fun. In the end, we both just laid about doing nothing, too depressed to even talk. Sometime in the evening, the doorbell suddenly went off. ... It didn't look like Sora was going to get it. I wonder if I should. I contemplated ignoring it, but in the end, decided to check who it was. I went downstairs and opened the door. Oh, Rikuku! Surprised to see Hakura, I stepped out onto the porch. Hakura-chan. What's the matter? You didn't come to school today? Yeah, I'm sorry. Are you feeling okay? The doctor told me you got a cold. Actually, about that. I'm sorry, but I'm actually not sick. Oh, then what's the matter? A heavy feeling came within me. I had a seat on the steps leading down to the yard. Hakura sat down beside me with a concerned look on her face. At this rate, I guess I shouldn't hide it from Hakura any longer. I sighed and wiped my face with my hands. The truth is, I'm going to leave to return to America again in just 2 weeks. I only found out on Friday night after the dance. Rikuko, what? What happened? I thought Rikuko was going to stay here! Even if I wanted to tell Hakura everything, just where do I even start? I needed to tell her everything about my mother and Sora and who knew what else. Pretty complicated. The truth is, in the end, I told Hakura everything about it. About my mother, about Sora, about everything. My parents divorced right after Sora was born. I don't have any childhood memories of my mother or of my sister. I would never even have gotten the chance to live with Sora again had my mother not gotten ill. Oh, I see! But now that she's out of the hospital, that's all over now. She's going to take Sora away in just a few days. Now that we don't have to watch over Sora anymore, we're going to return to America. I don't think I'll ever be able to come back here again. I didn't mean to make you worry by staying silent. It's just that something like this. I understand. My father won't listen to me no matter how much I tell him I don't want to move. It's really hopeless. I'm sorry, Rikuku! And right when Sora began opening up, I really thought things would go alright with her, but something like this had to happen. How's she doing? Not good. I'm getting really pathetic. I promised her that I would protect her, but in the end, I can't do anything. Riku! Sorry, Hakura-chan. I really wanted to graduate high school with you. Ah, me too, Riku! But now... I stood back up and started back toward the house. Hey, could you keep this a secret from Nanami? Ah! I don't know what to tell her right now. Sorry, Hakura-chan, I'm just really tired. Okay! Take care of yourself, Rikuko! I'll try, thanks. Good night! Good night. I closed the door and stumbled back upstairs in a daze. I slumped down onto the bed and stared at my feet. Hakura-chan came by. Sorry, Riku. Making you get the door. I felt exhausted all of a sudden. I fell down on my bed and closed my eyes. She looked really sad. I felt Sora lie down beside me. I hate this. Being stuck with that woman for my entire life. I was so sad. But there was no one to talk to. And I thought it was finally going to change. That's not fair, Riku. I placed my hand on Sora's cheek. Shh, don't say that. I've never belonged anywhere. I completely forget what it was like to have a home or a family until I met you. It felt like whenever I finally got used to some place, I would just have to move again. I was lonely. Oh, okay. But you know, you can't be alone, because no matter where you are, I'll always be alone with you. I wrapped my arms around Sora and held her close. Riku. We were the only two people on Earth who could understand each other. In many ways, even if we were raised apart, we were alike. We both hid our real emotions deep underneath ourselves. Neither of us spoke much, unable to hold much of a conversation, always holding our thoughts to ourselves, speaking only in short comments when somebody else spoke to us. Only to one day have our barriers shattered and have everything to come flooding out uncontrollably, no matter how desperately we try to swallow it back up. I can't go on. It's too unfair, Riku. It's just too unfair. Shh, you don't need to cry. Sora, I'm right here with you. I don't want to be alone again. My heart squeezed. I wanted to say something to tell Sora to make her better, but yet I was at a loss for words. I knew nothing I could do would make her feel better. The sight of her tears made my eyes tingle, as if I would start crying too. Riku, you're warm. Just hold me like this. Okay. I held Sora close to me and shut my eyes. Sora, there's no need to worry, because I'm right here with you, feeling the same thing. I'll take care of you, okay? You can count on me. So I don't want to see you cry. The sweet scent of Sora's hair filled me as I held her warm body in my arms. Somehow being so close to her gave me a glimmer of relief. I wanted to believe that if she was by my side, then I would somehow be saved. That if she were to hold me at that pivotal second, then everything would somehow be okay. But it was all futile. Sora raised her hands and held my face. My heart fluttered at her touch. She stared into my face, her eyes pleading me to save her from the pain that was tearing her apart. Somehow, as I looked into her eyes, I saw my own face mirrored in hers. Surrounded by the world that was about to consume us, this feminine face that somehow looked like mine, provided me with a strange source of warmth. Sora. Sora ran her hand down my face. Reiko, you'll be with me forever, right? I won't ever have to be alone again. So, be with me, Reiko. I don't want to be alone anymore. I promise you, Sora, no matter what, I'll always be with you. Just like I promised you that time we watched the fireworks together. Thanks. Sora raised herself so that she could meet eye to eye. Her face was so close to mine, I could feel her gentle breathing. Thanks for lying for my sake. Sora's fingers danced around my collarbone. Her glistening eyes looked at my body wistfully. My heart fluttered as Sora's fingers softly circled my Adam's apple. Reiko. Her face approached mine. Her eyes glazed, her lips slightly parted. My heart pounded inside of me so hard that I felt as if I would faint. My head spun, captivated by Sora's beautiful white skin, and yet horrified it was the same skin as mine. I wanted to find out what her tiny pink lips tasted like. And that thought drove me to contemplate throwing myself off a cliff. Sora, stop it. I put my hand on top of her head and gave it a pat. You're embarrassing me. Sora put her head down, looking disappointed. The look of rejection on her face made me want to grab her shoulders and drink out some sorrow with her from her lips right there. I'm sorry. Sora smiled weakly. Reiko's still the only person I can count on. Hearing those words made me feel as if I were carrying the weight of the world on my back, but I still smiled anyway for Sora. Don't worry, Oni-chan will take care of you. Sora pressed her face into my chest and wrapped her arms around me. I'll be counting on you.